Wife broke a broom on my back. My wife and I got into a heated argument just now over her laziness. Whenever I come home from work the house is a mess and the kids haven't took a bath. I told her I don't like coming home to a messy house. She's a stay-at-home mom, she doesn't pay shit. She got all defensive about it and said she never has time to relax. I was getting ready to leave the house and that's when she hit me with the broom so hard it broke. I can't hit her back so I punched a hole in the wall. She's blowing up my phone apologizing and begging me to come back. She gave birth 3 months ago to our daughter and she says she's suffering from postpartum depression. Want to be there for her but I don't think I can be with a woman like that. Has anyone been in a similar situation before? Edit, I'm going to post an update on everything later. I didn't expect this to blow up. I'm just a young guy asking for advice on how to get through my current situation. Update, I left the house after me and my wife got into a huge argument over chores, and she assaulted me with a broom. The broom was wood so it broke. I don't have any serious injuries on my back, but I do have bruising and swelling. I was extremely pissed off when I wrote my last post because everything had just happened and I left out a lot of details. My wife is 23 and I'm 28. We've been together for almost 4 years and we have 3 kids together, all girls. She didn't have PPD with our last 2 kids, but when she gave birth to our newborn she fell into depression that she did not tell me about until after she hit me and I threatened to leave. I went back home 12 hours later after cooling myself down and started working on some things for work. She woke up and told me she wants to talk to me about what happened yesterday. She apologized for attacking me and told me she did it because I made her reach her breaking point. She said she's tired of doing most of the housework by herself and she feels like I've been neglecting her and paying more attention to the kids than her. She said she's been feeling depressed and can't get out of bed sometimes. Before I could say anything she started crying and I comforted her. We didn't continue the conversation because she cried herself to sleep. I didn't know she was feeling that way. I did see her laying in bed a few times before but I just thought she was tired, not depressed. I'm glad everyone in the comments informed me on what PPD is and how serious it is because now I know. I couldn't imagine what she's going through. I'm not going to press charges on her because she's suffering and she needs my help. When she wakes up I'm going to talk to her about seeing a therapist and ask her how I can help her get better. She's not a violent woman and she's never hit me in the past, so I'm not going to divorce her and kick her out to go to the streets while she's raising my kids. I'm thankful for everyone who gave me advice on how I can get through this. PPD is no excuse for violence. It's absolutely real and she very much could have it, but it is not an excuse for violence. Period. This is beyond Reddit's pay grade. She needs professional help. There is no excuse for violence and that would be it for me. Op would have been in the right to call the police, but Op comes off as a serious douche. She has multiple children and a 3-month-old infant and he comes home and tells her she's a lazy leech. She needs help with the PPD and if they stay together they should go to couples therapy too. To add, Op, you might want to call a local domestic violence hotline. They can give you some support and possibly resources in the short term while you decide your next steps. Do you honestly want to be in that kind of relationship any longer? I would at any point of physical assault just leave. File divorce and try to get custody of your kids and tell her to sort her shit out. So far, everyone has ignored the assault and battery that took place. Of course she needs urgent help, but you also need to consider the safety of the baby as well as yourself if she's attacking you with a weapon. Cause it's a woman so she gets sympathy and the benefit of the doubt. Could you imagine if a man broke a broom on his wife's back after an argument about his laziness and tried to blame it on his depression? Not a single person would say get him help, they'd be telling her to run with the kids as fast as possible. But because it's a woman she gets some sympathy still and every condemnation of her behavior is also qualified by well she's still going through a lot with PPD though. You should really be considering divorce. Assaulting your so is never cool and there's never an excuse. Dude, she assaulted you, she broke a goddamn broom on your back. She may be suffering from depression and need help, but until she is better at least please get the kids and distance yourself from her. She is a threat to you and the children. Be prepared for divorce too, as it is a very real possibility. My 38 meters son, 16 meters, no longer wants to go home to his mother, 37F. Update, I've spoken to my son again and pressed the issue. Turns out he came out to his mother the same weekend he came out to me and she didn't take it, so instead of reacting like a normal person she's been making him admit that he likes being with women before she feeds him. I'm going legal. Thank you everyone for the great advice. I have been separated from my son's mother for about 7 years now. It was a pretty messy divorce and it was horrible to drag our son through. I still feel guilty about all the drama every day. He didn't deserve it so young. Since the divorce, my son has been staying with his mother 5 days a week and I get him on the weekends. It was the best arrangement we could come up with and it gives me more time with my boy than the courts were going to allow me. Things were going amazing and then something shifted last year just before Christmas. He didn't want to go home at all. He refused to leave and his mother called the cops to have him brought home. Since then, he's been reluctant to leave every Sunday. I have of course asked him if there was something going on between he and his mother and he said no. But this last Sunday was extra hard to let him go. By the time we got to his street he was crying uncontrollably and I couldn't drop him off. I just turned the car around and took him back to my place, which resulted in the cops being called once again. What do I do in this situation? I don't want to force my son to keep going back there if he's not happy. I'd also love to have open communication with him but he just shuts down. I've also booked him a therapist and he just sits silently until the session is over. I'm worried. At 16 the courts will heavily weigh in favor of what he wants, so ask him if he wants you to file for a change of custody. If he does, let him know that you will do so as soon as you can and that you will respect his wishes not to push for reasons. But he should be aware that the court, often via a child advocate assigned to him but maybe an attorney or the judge, it depends, will probably ask him why. Once he is, hopefully, with you full-time he will quite likely feel safe enough to talk about his reasons. If not with you then with the counselor. Also ask him if he'll feel better with a different therapist. Wow, this is so tough. I'm not sure where you are located, but in some places, at his age, he is legally allowed to say where he wants to live. This would require him going back to court, though. I'm not sure if he can do this without saying what's bothering him. Though you might want to consult a lawyer. In the meantime, I suggest to continue being supportive. Make sure you let him know that if something is going on, you will do everything to take him out of there. The therapist is a good idea. Good luck. Time to go back to family court and come up with a new custody arrangement. If the police are called and he refuses to go with them, it's tough shit for the mom. He's old enough to refuse. I'm not sure where you live, but where I am, even if the court order is police enforceable and a 16-year-old refuses to go, police won't drag a child out of a suitable home if it's his choice. That is very bizarre behavior. Trust your gut. Worry something happened to him and he is too embarrassed to tell you. Does his mother have a BF or new husband? I swear I think a thread from the mother's POV was here a few days ago. Husband, M32, has been diagnosed with cancer for the second time in 2 years. My husband was diagnosed with cancer last Friday. The first time, which he was treated between March and August 2020, was hard enough. This time it might be worse for treatment but prognosis is good. Both times it was kidney cancer. When this is all done he will have less than half a kidney remaining. COVID plus cancer in 2020 wiped out our HSA. He needs about 3 months time off work. This is going to financially end us. It's really stressing him out. What can I do as a wife to support him and does? I might get a part-time job along with my full-time job. Also Valentine's is this Sunday. It might be nice to do something small but reasonably cost. Any ideas would be appreciated. He's having a hard time getting though the day right now. For Valentine's please do not spend money. I highly suggest lighting some candles. Put on some nice music and give him a massage. You both seem pretty stressed out, which is truly understandable. So some relaxation and literally massaging the stress out of the body might be a good idea. Not just do a back massage, try and look up how to massage feet and legs. It really does wonders. I promise. Besides that, it also makes for some nice quality time together. This is my favorite idea on here. I'm sorry for this. I lost my husband suddenly some time back. Don't spend dollar for Valentine's Day if dollar is tight. Just spend time. As far as finances, live frugally and don't worry beyond that. Spend time with him. It's easy to say don't worry, I know, but try. When you worry, sit down and enjoy time together, even if it's just sitting there. I'm sorry to hear what you and your husband are going through. It sounds incredibly stressful. Have you had any opportunity to talk with a social worker since your husband's second diagnosis? They can usually provide a wealth of information and may be able to connect you to resources to help out financially. Do you have any other social supports that your family can lean on during the next 3 months, such as family, friends, religious or social organizations? As another poster mentioned, bankruptcy could be helpful as a last resort. For Valentine's, maybe you could make him, or order, his favorite food, do an activity that he enjoys, visit with a few friends/family. Sorry to hear this. I wish you well. For Valentine's Day, a nice heartfelt card and something he loves is really good. Can he eat chocolate? Maybe his favorite kind, or whatever he loves. Honestly, anything from you is supportive and great at this point. As far as finances, bankruptcy laws are made for times like this. My cousin was tens of thousands in debt due to cancer, and it changed her life. She's doing well now, with little debt. If it gets really bad, money-wise, consider it. It's tough, but you can build your credit back in as little as 5 years. Most states have free credit counseling advice for cases like yours. Look into it. For Valentine's, I wrote on all this little notes why I like my BF and what I would like to do with him in the near future. Sometimes the note just says, I think it's time for a cuddle, or I love resting in your arms, and so on. I cut the notes into shapes of a heart. Then I made a tiny boxy envelope from A4 paper and put them all in there. On the outside of the envelope I wrote that he should take one note out every time he needs it. It's a small gesture with no costs but time, and it has a long impact for the next coming months.